goosebumps. Gotta get you by the goosebumps. Gotcha. They're gonna get you by the goosebumps.
Hello and welcome back to Drunken Book Club. I'm your hooligan neighbor, Christopher the Rupel, joined with...
Cranky federal employee, Sam.
Dang wrong.
With a shotgun.
And on this week's episode, on this official... oh god, I just realized you had a shotgun. Oh no. On this week's episode of the official unofficial Goosebumps podcast of Drunken Book Club, reread The Ghost Next Door. Number 10. We're finally in the teens.
Double digits.
Double digits. Double digit Bridget Midget Gidget. Yeah. What?
That was just...
I can't rhyme. I'm not allowed to rhyme.
That was just a weird set of rhyme.
I thought it was fine. Minus one word that I probably shouldn't have said. But hey, we're here. So, Sam, what did you pregame on? Oh, we didn't pregame on anything because I forgot to make drinks.
Yeah.
Then I lost my alcohol book.
It's somewhere.
I think somewhere in the apartment, but I don't know where it went.
We'll find it.
We'll find it.
It'll show up.
Because I was thinking of like maybe trying to find something that was like mailman related or burning down the house related. Because I felt like those.
The house is on fire. That one Bloodhound Gang song.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wait, it's the roof. The roof is on fire.
Fucking tired. Okay.
Burning down the house. That's my go-to. But you do you. All right, Sam. As always, what you never? This is your first time reading this one. What were your first impressions? When did you think The Ghost Next Door was going to be about?
So this is my first time reading it, but I thought it's been spoiled. The twist is spoiled for me.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's a couple factors that spoiled the twist. One, we did a quizzer, I know for sure. And two, the Goosebumps movie.
Yeah, I remember you pointed that out.
Yeah.
But that's another... We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. So I thought I already knew the twist, but I'm like, who knows? It could actually be about, like, the next-door neighbor being a ghost.
Yeah.
And I could have that mixed up with a different one, or misremember.
Yeah, because I almost, was about to give it away, because I was, like, at first I was feeling kind of lukewarm on this one, but it eventually really grew on me. Like, this one's definitely a grower, not a shower. It is!
It is, you're not wrong, but yeah.
It's a great way of describing it. It's a penis. Penis. Yeah, it's a great penis of a book. I took this book's penis and I loved it. It wasn't girthy at first, but then it grew on me. Grew in me. Yeah.
And I'm going to be, upfront on this, because you know how you talk about renaming the title?
Yeah.
I can't really think of it.
I couldn't think of one either. I legit was like, this is the perfect fucking title for this book.
Yeah.
The Ghost Next Door is legit the only title for this book.
Because there are some books where I'm like, no, we can make a better name.
Yeah, Night Living Dummy, Slappy's Revenge, stuff like that, you know?
But that one, it's like, no, this works perfectly.
Yeah, I think I actually got rid of that on the note page, because I was just like, I can't think of anything. This is literally, the only time I was like, oh, I don't know. Hannah's Journey. Oh, that's the edgy, not edgy, but the preteen drama version
Yeah, I was
of
going
it.
to say, there's going to be a sad guitar, and it... Yeah. And there's going to be a fade, where they, fade in and out, their profile. It's a picture of them looking very,
Dun.
solemn.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, let's talk about this cover. Not a great cover here. Not a terrible cover.
It doesn't really stick out. You don't go, oh, yes.
It's just a meh cover, yeah.
It's just feet.
We have the ghostly legs of the ghost next door, standing upon a welcome mat. The front door to the house is slightly ajar, so that we can see the single leg of the person opening the door. Also, the borders are puke green.
Yeah.
This is just the most unappealing cover.
If I was looking at Goosebumps books, it's that's not the one I would grab.
No. Even if I was going for a ghost one, I'd probably go with, Ghost Beach, because that one's got a spooky surfing ghost on the cover. It's really cool.
So you know what I thought when I was, thinking about the front cover?
Yeah.
Has there ever been a Goosebumps Converse collab?
I don't think there has been, as far as I know.
There should be.
I'm surprised there isn't. There's probably been another collab, probably. It'd be funny. It's no, there's a Vans collab because there's Vans for everything.
There is, but yeah, it'd be funny. Just
yeah. I don't think there's been one.
I feel like there should be though.
Yeah, if I actually enjoyed Converse, I would probably get them.
Well, and it'd be really easy to get a pair of plain
what's
Converse.
it called? All I would say is just make
get a stencil.
Yeah, I was gonna say just put the what's it called, the goo, just have the goo effect dripping down on the shoes. That's
and maybe
all I would
the
do.
Goosebumps G.
Yeah, the G.
I'm not.
G-unit.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think you need a fancy one. I'm just saying it should have happened.
It should have happened.
That's all I'm saying.
I know. It's so funny that like a one man's obsession with these types of shoes are is one of the things that people know so much about Goosebumps. Like, you can't think of a Goosebumps cover without thinking of Converse, because that's just Tim Jacobus. He loves Converse, and he would always put them on there.
Well, and wasn't it like his mom like didn't like the shoes?
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm just going to draw them on everything now.
Yeah, I'm going to put them on everything.
And hey, it worked.
Fuck you, Mom.
So, hey, if it works.
Hey, it works. It does work. Yeah, I was about to say, the color choice and just everything on this one.
The other ones that's not puke green is like a peach, like the Crayola crayon that you'd use for a skin tone, because you couldn't really find any other good skin tone.
Yeah, I think the reprint cover is a lot better on this one. It's of like a ghostly hand about to use a door knocker, and the door knocker's kind of spooky looking. Not exactly the best cover either for this book, I feel like, but I mean, I'll be honest. What cover would you put for The Ghost Next Door? There's really not much you could do
without just spoiling like the whole thing.
Yeah, like this is good enough. I feel like it's like, okay, yeah, you have a ghost. I feel like the ghost should be answering the door, not the one going up to the door.
Yeah. So, the different variations on book covers, because I decided to look it up.
Oh, yeah, did you...
So, the first one is the one that we have of the puke and peach.
Yeah, it's the original.
Then it's just all puke.
Oh, yeah.
Oops, all puke.
Yep.
And then, it's like kind of a demon-looking door knocker with a ghostly hand reaching out to use the knocker, which... It's fine.
It's fine.
I think it's better. Like, I would agree it's better.
I would say it's a more appealing cover.
I would at least I'd be more willing to pick it up off the shelf with that cover.
Yeah. I'd be like, ooh, The Ghost Next Door, and ooh, it's got some knockers.
Look at that knocker.
Look at that one. Hannah's almost legal now.
But yeah, so.
Alright, let's get into this story then. Chapter 1. Before we go anywhere, we have to read the first page of this book. Sam?
Hit me in the boob.
I'm a boob punch. I apologize.
Also, thank you to whoever Erica P. was.
Yeah, thanks, Erica P.
Because that's what's written on the book.
Yep. Yeah, I have a couple Erica P. books, actually.
I'm almost wondering, because we did know an Erica P. back in the day.
Did we?
Wait, is she P?
I don't think she was P.
I might be misremembering.
I got these online, so...
Okay, so probably some other Erica P.
Yeah.
Okay, Hannah wasn't sure which had awakened her, the brittle crackling sounds or the bright yellow flames. She sat straight up in bed and stared wide-eyed in horror at the fire that surrounded her. Flames rippled across her dresser. The burning wallpaper curled and then melted. The door of her closet had burned away, and she could see the fire was leaping from shelf to shelf. Even the mirror was on fire. Hannah could see her reflection, dark behind the wall of flickering flames. The fire moved quickly to fill the room. Hannah began to choke on the thick, sour smoke. It was too late to scream, but she screamed anyways.
Beautiful. That's a fucking opener right there.
Yeah, I was like, God damn, this is brutal.
Like, that is how you open a fucking book right there. Like, I'm not gonna lie here and say that this book did not, like, immediately capture me with just that page.
Yeah.
But it really caught me off guard with how good of a fucking first page. Like, it's crazy. Like, this one, what's it called? The one right after this, Haunted Mask, are two really strong books. I mean, honestly, no, it's like 3 books in a row, because we had Welcome to Camp Nightmare, and like we had 3 books in a row of like really good ones.
Yeah.
So like, just happy. Happy. Thank you, Sam, for reading that. It's only a dream, and as Hannah puts it, at least her dreams aren't boring. Hannah has been bored this whole summer. Most of her friends are on vacation or at camp, so she spends most of her days watching TV or riding her bike to find people to hang with. This morning, Hannah takes herself downstairs and sees her twin brothers, Herb and Bill, messing around at the kitchen table, while Mom is making breakfast.
So, something I'll say about... Or, no, I'll save it for later.
You sure? You can say it now.
So one thing I was really worried about at this point in the book was how fucking annoying are they going to be?
Yeah.
They're like, you have 2 6-year-old younger brothers, and I'm like, shit. They're going to be just fucking little assholes the whole time. You're not the best of me!
you had some fears there.
Look, sometimes he makes some decent younger siblings, and sometimes they are just the little shits that I would throw off at...
These ones are definitely in the middle.
Yeah,
like
they're fine.
They're a little annoying, but like they're barely in the book. That's fine.
Yeah, well, and it's also like I get where they're 6-year-old siblings. They're going to be annoying. Like,
yeah, they're going to be annoying. It's like no matter what.
But I was worried they were just going to be constant, where it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
Where, like, I remember there was so much, like, I can't remember his name in Monster Blood. I think it was 3 that we just called him Melvin. Kermit.
Yeah, it's Kermit.
That I just, like, started writing things I would rather do than keep reading this.
You hated Kermit.
I fucking hated that little Melvin.
He was a little Melvin. Alrighty, well, Hannah gives her mom a big hug, and she's in such a good mood. Hannah asks the twins what they thought about the ghost stories around the campfire last night, and they say they were lame. After breakfast, Hannah decides to take a bike ride before it gets hot out. As she steps outside, she takes in the beautiful day, but something interrupts that and crashes into her. It's the next chapter. Chapter 2. A boy on a bike has crashed into her. He claims he didn't see Hannah. He introduces himself. His name is Danny Anderson, and he lives next door. This confuses Hannah, as next door has been abandoned and she would have noticed a new neighbor. He also claims he's not a new neighbor. He's been there a while. Hannah gets distracted by her brothers, and when she turns back, Danny has vanished. Chapter 3. I'm not sure if we skip ahead in time or what, but Hannah checks the mail and finds nothing there. She goes back inside to write a scathing letter to her best friend Janie, who is at camp.
I also love how she's like, at one point, she's like, I hope you're fucking dead. Because that is the only reason you shouldn't be replying to me. You fucking whore.
You're Hannah, aren't you? You would write these kind of letters.
No. Because I didn't have friends that went to camp, because we were all too poor to go to, like, sleepaway camp.
So what you're saying is you would have.
I'm not saying I wouldn't have been. That's all I will admit to.
I plead the fifth there? You plead the fifth
Shut
there
the fuck up. That's what I'm saying, is shut the fuck up, Chris. But I mean, to be fair, it does hurt, like, when you have a friend that says they'll call and then they don't. And then,
right, yeah.
Yeah, and then they don't acknowledge.
Oh, for sure.
Because I've had that where people are just like, oh, just not reply, just fucking ghost you even before ghosting was a thing.
Yeah.
Heh, heh, ghost, heh, 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 heh.
She finishes the letter and decides to walk to the post office in town. As she walks, she tries to say hi to Mrs. Quilty, who ignores her, and she notices someone playing the piano. I dropped that in there because I thought it comes up later, but that's actually in the TV show the piano comes back. She gets to the center of town and drops off her letter. When she's about to head home, she hears a cry of pain coming from an alley nearby. She goes to inspect it.
Chapter 4. In the alley are 3 boys, one of which is Danny, and the other 2 look to be a little older than him. A dog, and Mr. Chesney, the postmaster. Mr. Chesney was throwing rocks at the dog, saying they need to leave the government property.
You get off my property, bitch!
The boys taunt the postmaster before running away. Hannah says Mr. Chesney's a bitch ass, and he hates kids.
I wanted to get Sam to say bitch ass because I knew she'd be reading this chapter, so I put that there.
Like, it was like, what can I make Sam say?
Yeah.
She decides to go... She decides to go home, and on the way, she notices someone following her. It's a tall, dark figure in all black, and they beckon to her, calling her name. Hannah is terrified and runs away. But are they following her? Hannah stops to see if they're close. She sees shadows morphing and moving, and her name being called. She screams at the darkness to know who they are, but after a second, there's nothing there. She continues her way home, cautious of every corner. Days pass, and Hannah is unsure if she's able to stand all the boredom. On one particular day, she sees Danny playing with a tennis ball in his backyard. She says hi to him, but at first he doesn't notice her. But after a second call, he acknowledges her. They talk about kids from school, but neither one knows the other's friends. He accidentally gets his ball stuck on the roof. Hannah notices that he disappears out of nowhere, but reappears once more with a ladder. He climbs to the roof, and Hannah says he shouldn't do that. He gets up on the roof and finds his ball, but ends up tripping, and he's falling headfirst on the roof.
Off the roof.
Off the roof. No, he's falling onto the roof somehow.
Yeah.
I've been playing Dragon Age Origins, and some of the dwarves think you can, like, fall into the sky.
Whee!
That's just what happens. He just falls into the sky.
Yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
Boop.
Yep.
Chapter 6. Hannah covers her eyes in shock, and when she opens them, Danny's in front of her, unharmed. He claims to be a daredevil. She tries to ask him how he did it, but Mom calls her inside to watch the twins. That night, while cleaning the table, she ponders on Danny and how he might be a ghost. She decides to go over to his house and spy on him to prove that he's a ghost. When she gets there, she peeks through the kitchen window and is shocked at what she sees.
Yeah, chapter 7, the same fucking thing we saw in the Grow Cred Monster. Except not, since he actually saw her. It's Danny, looking right at her. Ah!
I want to imagine, like, he's just, like, nose pressed up to the glass, like...
No, that's Hannah. Hannah's nose pressed up to the glass, like fucking Snow White in that one image. He comes outside and invites her in, but Hannah, being so embarrassed, declines and leaves. The next afternoon, Hannah plans on following Danny. She lets him get a good head start and then follows him into town. Unfortunately, she lets him get too much of a head start and loses him. After searching the town for him, she heads back home, but the mysterious, shadowy figure is upon her once more. It calls to her as she tries to flee. She crashes her bike and the figure approaches her. Hannah can only see its dark red eyes as it comes for her. Chapter 8. The whispers of her name become shouts, and Danny suddenly appears. He helps her up and asks if she's okay. Hannah only wants to know if he saw the dark figure, which Danny has no clue what the fuck she's talking about. Hannah is unsure of what to think now. The next day, while outside, Hannah once again writes to Janie at camp, telling her of her theory of Danny being a ghost.
You absolute cunt, write me back.
When she finishes writing it, Danny is there and demands she hands him the letter she just wrote. He can't have Hannah revealing his secret to anyone. Da, 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 da.
You were going to tell her I was gay. What?
What?
Oh, no, never mind. No, never mind. Okay.
Chapter 9. Questions rush through Hannah's mind, but before she can ask any, Danny demands the letter once more. She hears chuckling and then sees two faces. It's her twin brothers. They're laughing at her because she fell asleep on the lawn. She thinks her dream is a premonition and once again plans on spying on Danny. The next evening, she plans on asking Danny to get ice cream. When she gets to his house, she knocks on the door, but no one answers. She peeks inside and sees his mom sitting there, ignoring the knocks at the door. She knocks louder and calls Mrs. Anderson, but she doesn't respond. Hannah realizes why she doesn't.
Chapter 10.
She's a bitch ass.
She's just a bitch and just sees her.
Yeah.
Like, she turns around and just stares straight at her and is like, just flips her the bird, just...
Yeah, then goes back to reading or whatever.
Yeah. Chapter 10. Mrs. Anderson isn't real. She's a ghost. Hannah backs away, and as she's freaking out about living next to a ghost family. She goes back home and tries to tell her family about the ghost next door. Hey.
Yeah, I had to drop it. Book never says ghost next door, though, surprisingly.
But no one wants to hear her. She decides to get ice cream on her own, and when she gets to the ice cream shop, three figures come rushing out. It's Danny and his two friends. They cause a commotion in the shop. This causes Hannah to back up and fall backwards into the street.
Cracking her skull open.
She dies.
And again.
Chapter 11. Mr. Harder, the owner of the ice cream shop, tries to run after the boys, but heads back inside. Hannah snoops for a second to see what happened. She overhears Mr. Harder complaining about how the boys just stole ice cream, which is a dick move.
It's a very big dick move.
Hannah chases after the boys to confront Danny about what he did. When he catches up to them, the other two boys are cheering over themselves and the free ice cream victory. Danny doesn't look thrilled about what they did. When they're about to leave, car headlights are on the three young burglars. It's the police!
Trip Danny, let's get out of here.
Chapters 12 and 13. Nope, it's just a man asking for directions.
Worst frickin' chapter end of like, oh shit, there's something going on. It's like, nope.
And then this guy's just like, how do you get to the 112?
Yeah, how do you get to the highway?
How do you get there? And they're just like, oh yeah, you take a right at this light and can't miss it.
Yeah.
No, the boys leave their hiding place and realize they're next to Mr. Chesney's house. They dare Danny to steal his hand-carved mailbox, but before Hannah can see what Danny does, she sees the mysterious dark figure once more. The figure gets in her face, its sour breath strong. A car with the headlights on passes her, and the figure is gone. She's safe for now. Danny is still being taunted into stealing the mailbox. He's apprehensive at first, but then decides to do it when he's called a chicken, like every Goosebumps book.
There hasn't been another Goosebumps book where someone gets called a chicken.
I'm pretty sure there is. Isn't it Monster Blood? Andy calls it...
Yeah, okay. Monster Blood doesn't count.
He pulls with all his might to unearth the mailbox but fails. The other two try to help, but a voice behind them stops them. It's Mr. Chesney, and he's pissed.
You boys have my property in your hands. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Chapter 14. Mr. Chesney grabs Danny, but the boy is able to get free, and the trio run away. Mr. Chesney threatens next time they come around, he'll have his shotgun ready.
He's ready to murder children.
Yes, he is.
Like
he's ready to go postal. I'm not the first person to make that joke about Mr. Chesney, so...
Oh, no, but it also fits, though, because...
Yeah.
Well, and also, like, he's like, I'm a federal employee, like, he's hot shit.
You're a fucking postmaster. Calm your ass.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, you're not the FBI.
Mm-hmm. You're the mailman.
Yeah, and I work for the county, but it doesn't mean I have a position of power.
Mm-hmm.
It means I applied for the job and I got it at the end.
Hannah chases after the boys and finds them back in town. They're discussing how
Boys are back in town.
Boys are back in town. They're discussing how they'll get Mr. Chesney back, but Danny doesn't want to do that. The others ignore him and scheme a way to get the geezer.
Look, I'm just saying, don't fuck with the guy with the shotgun.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, they're like, he's all talk, but like, I'm like, no, this dude probably has... Hannah confirms he has a shotgun.
That, like, they were gonna, like, spray paint his windows or some shit for
Yeah.
Halloween, and he's out there with a shotgun, like...
Yeah. Like,
I would not... Even...
Granted, they might not know this fact, because, you know, yeah, we'll get there.
But he says he's gonna bring a shotgun next time.
But they think he's kidding. He's like, no, he can't have a shotgun.
Look, I'm just gonna say, if somebody threatens with a shotgun, I'm not gonna take that fact. I'm not gonna challenge that.
Yeah, in America, I'm not going to challenge that.
Don't call that bluff.
No.
Especially in small town America, like, you kidding me? Like...
Danny doesn't have time for this and has to get home. As Danny leaves, Hannah decides it's time to confront him. She approaches him and they talk about why he shouldn't hang with those two hooligans. When she brings up his mom and asks why she didn't answer the door,
She's just racist.
Just very racist against the very pale Hannah. He then turns to Hannah and has a deep confession to make. Chapters 15 and 16. His mom is hard of hearing. As they take their separate ways, Danny once more disappears without a trace. Hannah now realizes that she's been a fool to think Danny and his family are ghost. She approaches her back door, but before she can enter, the dark figure approaches once more and tells her to stay away from Danny. She freaks out, and her dad comes outside to check on her, but the figure has once again mysteriously vanished. Her parents get her inside, and Hannah just wants to go to bed. As she enters her room, the figure is in there waiting. Chapter 17. It's just a fucking shirt hanging from her bedpost. These freaking, like, fake outs are so bad in this book. It's like probably the only thing I really hate about this book. It's just all the really bad fake outs. She tries her best to fall asleep, but questions run through her mind. Was Danny telling the truth, or is he really a ghost? And why did the figure tell her to stay away from Danny? She ends up falling asleep and has a nightmare that the shadow that's been following her is Danny. Foreshadowing. She awakens, shocked, and doesn't believe her own nightmare. That morning, she confronts Danny and immediately blurts out the question, "Are you a ghost?"
Chapters 18 and 19. He thinks she's kidding, and says that he is. Hannah, now embarrassed, drops the subject, and talks about Danny's friends. She doesn't recognize them from school, and they don't know her either. He then changes the subject and says that the two want to get revenge on Mr. Chesney. Hannah thinks that's a bad idea, which honestly isn't. She's correct on that.
She is correct.
Danny...
She should just flat out say, I know for a fact he has a shotgun. He is not kidding.
Yeah, do not call this man's bluff.
Yeah.
Danny ends up tripping, and when Hannah tries to help him up, her hand passes through his. She tries again, but can't grab him. She finally figures it out. Danny is a ghost, and she says it to his face. Danny denies it and tries pushing Hannah, but his hand passes right through her body. Freaked out, Danny runs inside the house, and Hannah finally realizes, she's the ghost next door!
I'm the ghost next door.
The Manatter is me. That's such
That's
a weird
That's a weird pull, Sam. Isn't that from the freaking Philippines
the
version of...
Vietnamese Pokemon Crystal.
Yeah, the Vietnamese version. Oh my god, that's a freaking pull right there.
I don't know why I thought of
That's so random. Alright, keep going.
it. Just made me think of that. I don't know why.
Nah, I don't know either.
Chapter 20. Hannah tries to go home, but is feeling sick from the realization. What's she gonna do, vomit? She's a ghost.
Ghosts can vomit?
They can vomit?
Yeah, ghosts can definitely vomit, like ectoplasm and shit.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Duh.
So there's just a bunch of ectoplasm in that toilet now.
Yeah.
Hey. She overhears a neighbor talking about Hannah's house. She drops some exposition about how a fire had killed everyone inside about 5 years ago. Hannah's nightmare was real. It turns out the night Hannah had made the campfire to tell scary stories, she hadn't fully put out the fire and it set the house ablaze. She murdered her whole family.
Yep.
Hannah understands it all now and wants to tell her family, but when she enters her home, no one is there.
Fucking depressing.
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
Like,
that was an
she
emotional gut punch.
This is where the book takes this, like, 360 of, like, holy shit, like Hannah's like this full realization of like she's been dead for 5 fucking years. No one, the reason no one's been talking to her is because they've all moved on. And like, dude, like, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and well, it's also like she probably didn't send the letters then.
Yeah, no.
And it's been 5 years, so.
Yeah, and even if she did send them, no one would be getting them because like, this person's not at that camp.
Yeah,
it's like it would head to that camp, but like, would anyone be receiving it? Probably not.
Yeah.
Because no one with that name would be there.
But yeah, that's so depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 21. Hannah finally realizes she has no one to talk to and her home has become a desolate shell. She lets herself slip into a dark descent of helplessness. She awakens that night and sees Danny riding his bike. She attempts to talk with the boy but is too afraid of her and rides off. She thinks he's going to go to his hooligan friends to get revenge on Mr. Chesney. She gives chase and finds the trio at Chesney's house. Danny successfully gets the mailbox out of the ground. They toss the mailbox in the hedge and argue about what to do next.
so fucking lame. It's like, oh, let's throw it in the hedge where you can't see it clearly.
Yeah. Hannah can't hear what they're saying, but she clearly sees one of them lighting up matches. The boys break into the house, and before Hannah can try and stop them, something has gotten a hold of her leg.
Dun dun dun. Chapter 22. It's a fucking garden hose. Like, she, you know what's so depressing is, like, Hannah's like, I can pass through stuff, but at the same time, I can't sometimes. And it's like, you're the worst ghost, I swear. She approaches the house, but the windows are too high to see into. She tries to call to Danny to get him to leave, but he can't hear her. Then a light appears, but it's not from a bulb, but a flame. They've started their arson. As she tries once more to get their attention, the shadowy figure once more appears. It tells Hannah to stay away, and it starts to get closer to her, preparing to pull her in.
I want to know why they went with arson.
Because little boys can, like, well, okay. I think the option is, what can little boys get a hold of easily? Matches.
I'm just saying it's a fucking stupid idea, like...
They probably just wanted to, like, set something on fire, and then didn't realize, duh, oh no!
Fire spreads.
Fire spreads, we're dumb teenagers.
Yeah.
It's the dumb teenager thing, like, I can believe this, honestly, they're dumb.
Yeah, but I'm just more like...
Dumb.
Yeah.
Chapters 23 and 24. The figure disappears as she hears scratching at the window. The 2 naughty boys come out and rush to get help because Danny is trapped. Hannah decides she's going in to help him. As she enters, the dark figure ensnares her and tells her to stay away. Hannah, with all her might, grabs the figure and finally reveals its face. It's Danny? No, it's Danny's ghost, and he wants Danny to fucking die, so that he can be born in his place, and Danny will be trapped in the shadow world, aka hell, because he was a naughty boy.
Goddamn.
Right?
Like, I'm like, wow. Like,
did you not realize that he was going to send him to hell?
Like, I heard the shadow, like, he didn't specifically say hell, but...
He said the shadow world.
Yeah.
He said the shadow world. What else would the shadow world be?
True. And it's still, like, fucked up. Like,
R.L. Stine created the shadow realm. He did.
See, I also think of with Shadow World as Persona 4, just because then the themes in Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily call it the Shadow World in the game, but in the beginning song with the harmonica.
Oh god, I hate that song.
I love it, but it's one of those you either love it or hate it kind of songs.
But yeah.
But
no.
they say Shadow World.
They ripped off R.L. Stine. We took the Shadow World from the greatest American author, R.L. Steinson. Chapter 25. Hannah can't let Danny die. She escapes the hold of the shadow and darts into the flames. She finds Danny and starts to pull him to safety. They eventually make it out safely. The shadowy presence still inside gets enveloped by the flames and dissipates once more. Danny thanks Hannah, and suddenly a bright light consumes Hannah, and then darkness. Sam, take away that last chapter.
Chapter 26. 2 hours later, and Danny is safely home. He claims to his mother and Mrs. Quilty that Hannah had saved him. They can't believe that, as Hannah had been dead for 5 years. Hannah watches them from the doorway. She's slowly fading away now. She hears a familiar voice. It's her mother. She's calling to Hannah to return home. Hannah believes she was brought back to save Danny, but it's time for her to return to her family and be with them once more. The end.
Aww.
That's like a somber ending. Like, it's good.
It's bittersweet almost.
Yeah.
Like somber, a little bittersweet. Like it's very ungoosebumps. This book is a very ungoosebumps book. Like the only thing that makes it really feel like a Goosebumps are those freaking dumb, like...
Something has a hold of me. It's a hose.
Yeah, like, all those freaking fake-out scares are what makes this feel like a Goosebumps book, but this just, like, feels... It feels a lot more mature. Like, this one is definitely the Goosebumps book I would recommend to, like, an older reader being like, hey, I know they're dumb, I know they have stupid stuff, but this one actually has some good themes behind it, and actually has a very somber ending. Like, it really makes you think, you know, could someone really come back just to save someone else, you know?
Yeah.
Like, one little boy's soul saved four people and sent them to heaven. Actually, it turns out that there's an additional chapter. I can't steal this joke. This is from a different another podcast said that what's it called, Danny actually appears again in the next chapter because Mr. Chesney went on a rampage. I think it was Goosebumps who said that one.
Because that was just really funny.
I wish I could claim that as my own joke, but no, I think the Goosebumps said that one before, and I'm like, damn, like, I could believe it. I could believe it. Chesney went on a rampage.
Well, and again, just how
the Ghost Next Door 2, there is no Danny. Actually, Danny is the Ghost Next Door this time, and there's just a new person next door, and he has to save her from Mr. Chesney's rampage. Fucking... he got away with murder because he set this house on fire. It's called corporal punishment.
It's not corporal.
He doesn't know. He's Mr. Chesney. It's postmaster judgment. I'm judge, jury, and executioner. And boy, you mess with the wrong Chesney.
God, it was such a fucking dumb, like... Again, the whole, like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's little boys being little boys.
I'm just saying, though, more like, I'm like, break into the house and set stuff on fire. I'm like...
Why not just break stuff? You know? Yeah. Why not just break something? But no, they're dumb boys. Sam, do you got any notes?
I don't really have any additional notes.
Well, I do. Time for that popular culture references from 1993. Boom, 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 boom. Dayglow. Game Boy. General Hospital. Chutes and Ladders. Diet Coke, and the Cubs. And that's your pop culture references from this Goosebumps book.
You know what I realized?
Huh.
That technically Danny would have stuff from 98.
I believe that this book takes place in 93, but the events happened in 88.
Oh, okay.
That makes more sense to me, honestly, because I feel like it's present day now versus 5 years ago then. Because actually, no, it wouldn't work out that way, because the Game Boy wasn't out till like 90 something, if I believe.
Yeah.
So how these little boys got a Game Boy? They're actually still alive.
My dad works at Nintendo.
Yeah, my uncle works at Nintendo, and he can sue.
That's actually what happened.
Yeah. Hannah is nice. I like that she's not mean to her two younger brothers, like every other Goose kid would be.
Yeah, it is nice that she's not like just like, eat shit, you little twerps, and like shoves them in the mailbox. Yeah. Into Mr. Chesney's mailbox for them to get shot.
Yeah. I was about to say, like I think like how I said before, it's a very mature book. It doesn't try to play on the kind of dumb tropes of like bratty kids and shit. Like it doesn't play on those like stereotypical Goosebumps tropes. And I think that's why it works with being a really strong Goosebumps book. Like, yeah. Just a very mature one in general. And my final note for this one. Alright, I know they've been dead for 5 years, but let's look up what games the twins would be playing on their Game Boy in August of 1993. Sam, you want to warrant any guesses here? You know, any guesses what they might be playing?
I don't know off the top of my head, just because I didn't do that kind of research.
Yeah, I know you didn't. Oh, I know. No one does this research but moi.
But I saw I was going to say, I can't think of anything off the top of my head just because I'm not remembering.
Okay, that's fair.
Early Game Boy. Maybe
right.
Tetris, because Tetris was like one of the first ones on the Game Boy, if I remember.
It is, but I only with games from August of 1993 that were released. So, they could have been playing one of my personal favorite Game Boy games, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Fucking amazing game. Absolutely love this one. I want to get the
Switch one.
I've wanted to play the Switch one for a while. Like, it looks like a good remake. They could also be playing the port for Jurassic Park, which, yet again, pretty decent port. It's actually pretty close to what the one on the NES was like. So that's why I would say pretty decent one, except very much like the NES one, you have to play it pretty much all in one one sit down, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's a password system, but I don't remember. I can never get past the, the Stampede section. Next up, they could have been playing Tesserae, whatever the fuck that is. Or maybe the 4-in-1 Fun Pack Volume 2, filled with such classic games like Solitaire, Yacht, Dominoes, or Cribbage. I know how much those kids love to play Cribbage. They could also be playing the game Goal! Or maybe they're playing Pinball Dreams, because that's the last game that came out this month that I could find.
So my guess of those
Yeah.
is I would probably say Jurassic Park.
4-in-1 Fun Pack Volume 2? Yeah, I agree.
Because, like, Link's Awakening is really good, but I feel like they'd get easily confused on what's going on.
Yeah.
Because they are 6 years old.
Yeah, they're 6.
Their literary skills are not great.
Yeah, I was about to say, they're like, oh, dinosaurs. I want a dinosaur game.
Well, and also, like, with Link's Awakening, I've played a bit of it because I have it on the virtual console on my 3DS.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, like, if I didn't look up the guide, there were times where I'm like, shit, where do I go? What do I do?
It's definitely a guide game, because, like, there's some part, like, when you, like, that first forest, if you don't know what you're doing, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Why do I keep looping around and shit?
Yeah, so that's where I'm like, I think it would be better if it was the...
Yeah. Fair enough. Sam, do you have any questions for the random question section? I only have one question on mine, because it was kind of difficult to... Like, I was about to say, this one's not your usual Goosebumps book, so it's not really easy to come up with fun questions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, I'm not going to lie here and say I teared up at the end of this one. Like, it was a very heartwarming ending, and it, like, brought tears to me, honestly. But my only question is, do you believe in ghosts?
I do to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe in necessarily, like, the ghost TV shows.
Yeah, I don't believe in that kind of ghost. I do believe in, like, kind of like a spiritual energy, if anything.
Yeah.
Like, we've kind of gone over this before. Like, I don't know if it's more of, like, I feel like we've gone over this before. We don't really need to talk about it, but
like, well, and I don't know if we've talked about it in the recent Drunken Book Club stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, to sum it up, we definitely believe in, like, some kind of spiritual energy.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily, like, to see Grandma walking down the hallway.
No, I disagree. Actually,
Okay.
I did see a grandpa. I didn't see a grandma. I saw, what's it called? My friend Alex. I was at their house sleeping over because I was dating them at the time, and we were going to go to Lake Patagonia.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
And I saw their passed away tata. He literally looked me dead in the eyes and walked to the kitchen. I wouldn't have believed it if they hadn't told me something, you know?
Yeah. And I was going to say, so far for me, it's kind of a have to see to believe it kind of thing.
Which is fair. I totally agree with that.
But I do definitely think there is definitely, like, a spiritual kind of presence.
There's something out there. There's some kind of, like, energy.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's one of those, like, that's more of a have to see it to believe it. I don't believe you didn't see it. It's just more that kind of thing of, like,
no,
I
understand, yeah. You're not like, hoo-hoo, good job, cuckoo, kabaya, kabobo.
Yeah, I'm like, you just made that up.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
so,
Like,
no.
I'd say, to be fair, you have made stuff up, but not that one.
No, that one was definitely not a makeup, and I did also have the theater experience that I can't explain. I can explain all the other theater experience. Actually, 2 of them I can't explain, but all of them, all the other ones I've been like, no, it's just a freaking, old building and shit like that. But
I still don't remember. I still don't know if that one guy was a dream, because I told you about that one guy at my bedroom window.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
If it was just a really creepy dude, or if it was a ghost.
No, it was a zombo. It was a ghoul.
Because, like, it could have been any of those 3.
Yeah.
And I can't confirm or deny.
It was my ghost. He was telling you to stay away.
No, it was like a middle-aged Hispanic dude.
Yeah, exactly. It was me. He's like, stay away from Chris. I want to be him. He's going to go to hell because he's naughty. And I get to live now. Ole.
Even though we were the same age, so you'd have also been like...
Ole!
And you don't talk like that?
I talk like this all the time. What are you talking about? This is my real voice. I have to whiten it up so people will like me more. Should I have to do this for you, America? No. But I do it anyways.
Yeah, because that's totally how you talk.
Ole! Dun 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 dun. What are you talking about? That's how I always talk. What if I just changed my voice to this and went to interviews? It's like, hey, how you going? I talk like this now. And then they hear me talk normal for one day. It's like, whoa, you talk normal? I'm like, no, I don't. You didn't hear nothing, Vato. Get out of my face. I don't know where I'm getting at.
I don't know where you're getting at either.
All right, so let's get into what inspired the Stein. So, I actually had to do the research for this one because there's no clear cut and dry ones that they put, like, I go on the Goosebumps wiki. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I know this off the top of my head. No, most of the time I don't, but most of the time I do. This time around, they didn't have this one, and I know for a fact this is definitely what inspired R.L. Stine, because I was, like, even thinking to myself, I'm like, this reminds me of a movie I saw a long time ago. Let's start off with a movie not too many people know about, but was more than likely the earliest example of where they were dead all along on film. The movie is called Carnival of Souls, and is probably the biggest inspiration for this book. It follows the story of Mary, the sole survivor of a car crash involving herself and 2 other women. After moving to Utah, Mary starts having strange apparitions, including one of very sinister-looking man. Mary also finds herself drawn to a pavilion, a former carnival venue located by the sea. One day, after a terrifying dream, Mary decides to go to the pavilion. Here, she discovers the man dancing to eerie music with a ghostly version of herself. Naturally, she runs away, but the carnival goers chase after her, and Mary is outnumbered. At the end of the movie, all 3 bodies are found, including Mary's, indicating that she had died in the car accident.
Yeah.
Very similar to The Ghost Next Door.
Yeah.
And this movie came out in like the 50s, if I'm not mistaken, so it's definitely prime RL real estate.
Yeah.
It's free real estate. It's free RL's real estate.
Free R.L. State.
So Sam, what's your book report on The Ghost Next Door?
So this felt very different than the rest of the Goosebumps books, but in the best way
You
possible.
say the ghost books.
The Ghost books.
The ghost books.
But in the best way possible, because it has a more mature tone.
Mm-hmm.
Turn. I can't speak today.
Yeah, you're good.
But I was gonna say, it still has it has a very slow start, where it was honestly, the first couple chapters are a bit of a slog, because it does a good job of explaining just how dull she finds the summer.
Which, that does not help in all honesty, but it does at the same time. It does help show the world, but at the same time, you're like, wow, this is boring.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta get through this.
Yep.
But once it picks up, it really picks up.
Yeah, once she starts tailing Danny around, that's when the action really starts going and really starts getting good.
Yeah. And overall, I'd say it's a very solid book. It's definitely one I'd recommend as one of the ones you should read.
Yeah, I'd say, like, I would recommend this to, like, what's it called, adult readers, and not, like, I would actually recommend this to someone being like, oh, you read Goosebumps? What would you recommend? I would definitely be like this or The Haunted Mask, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, if you want something that's more mature, Ghost Next Door. If you want something that's just all around really good, Haunted Mask.
Yeah. And overall, I'd give it 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5? All right. This one is a goosebumpy ride. Ooh, pun intended. It has some of the best writing in the Goosebumps series and some of the best horror descriptions. Yet upon rereading, the twist in Hannah's adventure doesn't hold up. When you know the truth from the start, it kind of hurts the story. It makes Hannah's journey feel redundant, in all honesty. But it's still a really entertaining read, even if the beginning slugs on for a bit. It's also probably the only Goosebumps book to actually make me cry at the ending. It's a very bittersweet ending, but it's truly beautiful. Overall, though, it's a bit of a teeter-totter of a book with some really strong writing, but some boring parts here and there. I give The Ghost Next Door 4.5 naughty children burning alive and ending up in the shadow world out of 5. Oh boy, Sam. I'm very excited for the next book. No, I'm not. I'm not excited. So for people out there, let's get the no. I'm gonna say why I'm not excited for the next book. It's Sam's book.
Really, just because I'm the
No, it's not that reason at all. Next book is book number 12 because we already read number 11, Haunted Mask. Go back in our archive to go listen to that one. But it's Be Careful What You Wish For, and I'm not a big fan of what's it called, Be Careful What You Wish For style stories of like, oop. Oh, you messed up your wishes. You done fucked up.
You wish for world peace? Well, now aliens are attacking.
Yeah.
And we don't have any missiles. Now what, punk?
Actually, that's the only one I like is the Simpsons one. The monkey paw.
That one's funny just because...
That's like the only one I like because it makes fun of it so well. But like, I really don't like the bad Wish style ones. I don't like Wishmaster all that much.
Well, and I feel like there are times where it's like, I get the be careful what you wish for kind of thing, and it's, you know, some of the stuff of like, money can't buy happiness, and like, that kind of shit, but then I'm also like, it also is a weird message to kids.
Yeah.
Because especially when it's stuff made in good faith.
Mm-hmm. Which this one is not. This one is not made in good faith, so it's even worse.
But, like, I'm saying, like, when a kid wishes for something, like, in good faith, of, like,
Yeah.
oh, I wish I had a bunch of money, so then I wouldn't, that kind of stuff.
So I wouldn't be poor and be made fun
So
of.
my mom doesn't have to work the streets.
Oh, no. Yeah, no,
Then it's like, okay, then why is all of a sudden, like, why is the kid being punished for...
Yeah, why is something good for, like, others? I mean, sometimes they don't... I don't think it's always viewed as the other way, because it's never... Mom works too much or anything like that. It's just like kid wants to recreate blank check. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, no. I mean, that doesn't happen in this story, thank God, but I really hate careful what you wish for style stories. And this one is just one of the peak worst ones in my opinion.
The only one I kind of like in the be careful what you wish for kind of genre.
Wish Upon?
No.
Great movie.
I don't remember that one, honestly, because my brain's just...
I'm a slut for wontons.
Oh, God, that was so bad.
That was such a funny, great movie.
It was so bad, but it was fun in that sense.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking of in Fairly Odd Parents, because Norm Macdonald's the genie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he is just an asshole.
When they play it for laughs, it's good. I was about to say, that shit's always funny.
And they're even like, why are you an asshole? He's like, I just am.
Yeah. He's Norm Macdonald Genie.
Yeah, he's like, I'm Norm McFucking-Donald. The fuck you expect?
Yeah. If you enjoy what you heard, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Drunken Book Club. For $1 a month, you get bonus content every week. I do bonus episodes. I release our show notes. These episodes get uploaded up to a week early. They can come out earlier if I do finish them quickly enough, which this might be coming out super early. And plenty of other goodies for all you patrons. As what I say, like I said, it's $1 a month, and it's patreon.com/Drunken Book Club. Join our patrons like Trey and Weiss and be extra cool and get high fives and pats on the back. Not on the butt. Only if you pay $2. And yeah, that's about it. Sam, you got any final words?
Don't practice safe fire I don't know. Be safe
Wait.
around fire.
You started with don't practice safe fire
Shut
techniques.
up. I'm tired.
So
I was trying to say, like, don't start fires, but, like...
yeah, don't start fires. Be smart with fires. Make sure it's all the way out before leaving the fire.
And if you're a child, do anything with fire with parental supervision.
Yep. If you're going to throw non-dairy creamer at it, powdered creamer at it, it makes a really cool effect. That's what
But
they
still
did
be
in...
safe and
yeah, still
be
be safe.
supervised. Don't.
Always do it with adult supervision.
Yeah.
Like they did on Are You Afraid of the Dark? Alright guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time for a short story featuring Spongy. No, we just make reference to Spongy and berate him because we're awful people.
Sorry, Spongy. We love you.
I love you.
No matter which way you stay, you're out of my mind, out of my mind.